Hello, Reformers, and welcome back to Duran Ethos and Theron Cedrax's adventures. I'm not a big fan of Theron actually right now because he's kind of disapproving about everything, and even though, even though he kind of dislikes everything about the Force, you kind of have to give it merits, because otherwise, how would you be able to, explain how the Jedi and the Sith do all of the amazing things that they do? Well, I suppose that's only in Theron's head, and we will never know. But anyway, we now have a small appointment in the hangar just before we go to our ship. And I'm actually kind of a bit weirded out by this, because I don't think we're going to be gaining a companion. There didn't seem to be any specific NPC that really wanted to join us. Oh, it's just a holo communicator call. Well, this is weird.
Jedi, I heard that a motion passed to strip Ulgo of all his lands and titles once the war's ended, and it's all thanks to you.
I worry that I prevented one war, only to stir up another.
Any peace on Alderaan will be far more secure, with Ulgo exiled. With Organa as an ally and Ulgo soon to be no more, House Taral may soon return to glory indeed. As promised, with the authority I possess, I proclaim you a Lord of Alderaan, and award you these credits for your service to House Taral.
Finally, I get some proper recognition.
You've certainly earned it. You've done House Taral an invaluable service. I hope you will come visit us again.
Right, okay. So, yes, I don't actually mind gaining those credits, and I don't mind gaining the title and everything. I think that's kind of cool, actually. But that's what I needed to go to the hangar for. That is literally why I needed to go to the hangar and be like, oh yes, let me just accept a holo communicator call now. Because obviously that particular mission objective was designed before we had the priority transport personal starship ability. So that's kind of a bit... it dates the game quite badly, and I would have expected them maybe to patch that a little bit, maybe to change it to where you get the holo communicator call whenever, but okay. I don't think that's too bad, I suppose, because it does prevent you from having a little bit of a bug in terms of you interacting with your holo terminal a little bit too soon, perhaps.
Master Sidoni just checked in. She seems well, but very frustrated with herself. She reports you were unable to prevent war, but that you stopped her before things became irreparable. Alderaan will eventually find peace. You've once again done very good work in a tense situation, Jedi.
I did my best, given the situation.
The Council has come to expect nothing less of you. Tell me, did you learn anything new about the Plague Master, Lord Vivicar?
She told me he was in her head, influencing her actions.
I see. Master Sidoni was the last of the Lost Masters, and yet Vivicar still eludes us. Return to us here on Tython immediately, and we will discuss what you have learned. Lord Vivicar cannot remain hidden forever.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, I don't think that's too bad. I think that's absolutely fine. Yes, we're perfectly fine with doing that. Okay, so, yes, we now... Oh, I think I've actually... Wait a minute. I think in the previous episode I actually meant to say that I think that Parcanus is Lord Vivicar. I think so, because it seems like they all have him tied to them, and they're all extremely guilty over his death. Or so-called death. I don't actually think that he's actually dead. I think he transformed into a Sith or something, and I think that's probably what it is. And if that is spot on, then that's cool. And I actually really like that little bit of a twist there, but obviously they did foreshadow that a little bit, and they did kind of... I don't know, they did kind of telegraph it a little bit as well, because everyone is tied to this Parcanus guy, and Lord Vivicar is obviously trying to bring back those memories to all of them, to torture them over it, because obviously he's pretty mad that he's dead, or kind of dead, because obviously his personality has either been altered, or he's just fallen to the dark side and taken up a new name, because isn't that what all the Sith do? They take a new name whenever they, become Sith and things. So anyway, let's go back to speak to the Jedi Council. Well, it's been a while since we've returned to Tython, and I gotta say that I actually don't mind seeing the old place again, because it's usually quite a nice peaceful area, and just the ludicrousness of this door interaction here. I personally feel like they should have done away with that a long time ago, but it's okay, I guess. You don't really get to go into the Dark Council chambers anyway on the Sith side, so I suppose it's kind of similar in that respect.
You summoned me, Master Seal.
Welcome home.
I wish we could greet you with better news.
Despite using every avenue available to us, we are no closer to finding Lord Vivicar.
Actually, I believe we are. A common thread binds all the plague victims. The loss of Parkanis Tark at Malachor III. Vivicar's influence forced the Sick Masters to relive their failures on Malachor. This is revenge. Personal revenge. Only one man would have that much anger and pain. The man who was left behind. I believe Lord Vivicar is Parkanis Tark.
Jedi, Parkanis is dead.
Far from it, Jarek.
Yuan? I told those Padawans to keep an eye on you. You must rest.
No, my pupil, my fellow Jedi, deserves to hear the truth about Malachor.
What have you been hiding?
Malachor III isn't just strong in the dark side. The planet is the resting place of the Sith Lord, Terak Moraj. Our work on Malachor woke Moraj's spirit. One by one we fell under his power. The things we did still haunt me.
What happened to Parkanis Tark?
Parkanis was the youngest and weakest. We had to abandon him to Malachor's darkness. His sacrifice allowed the rest of us to escape, but it seems he survived and has taken Moraj's dark path.
Why did you keep this a secret?
I wasn't eager to tell my greatest student about my worst failure. I must make amends. I have a plan to help you find Vivicar. If the plague created a link between my mind and his, your shielding ability may allow me to use that link to find him.
No. You're already weak from the plague, Yuan. This could kill you.
I suppose there's little choice in the matter.
He's right. We must prevent this plague spreading further.
Rather intrepid, isn't she? It's quite fetching.
Very well, Yuan. But we will monitor the ritual, and your former Padawan must stay at your side.
Thank you, CEO. I will go to the meditation chamber to prepare. Please meet me there when you're ready.
Oh, yeah, and then we just get deposited outside the door. So yeah, there we go. I exactly thought that that would be it. I did not know that, by the way. I've never seen any part of the Consular story, maybe a little bit from Victoria's playthrough, but I have not had any spoilers. I actually have no idea what's going to happen. So yeah, that was all my own doing. Amazingly, I used my brain for that. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe I used my brain. Isn't that amazing? But anyway, we now have to go and speak to Master Yuan. I am actually kind of, yeah, I mean, they did telegraph that quite considerably, and it was only, hilariously enough, it was only at the end that I kind of realized what was going on. So I suppose if you're a little bit, you know, sharper than I am, then you would have obviously guessed that way before, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's actually a pretty cool twist. Anyway, so let's head in.
Thank you for coming. I have made all the preparations for the ritual to find Lord Vivicar. I plan to create a connection between us, using your shielding ability. If it was Parkanis, this should work. Drawing on your strength, I will invert the link between myself and Vivicar, and use it to sense his location.
I don't like the idea of being used as a crutch.
There are risks. For one, the shielding you gave me on Coruscant will be severed. I don't know what will happen then. It's possible I could die once your shield is gone.
If that happens, we'll never find Vivicar.
Then let's hope I survive, Jedi. No matter what happens, you must give me as much time as possible. Reversing the link may be a long process. Let us begin. Yes, it's working. I can feel his mind, and I can feel
She can feel the power that she's challenging. There is no hope. Jedi, you don't look as strong as you did last time we spoke. Yuan has drained your strength and made herself vulnerable to me. Still arrogant and reckless.
I can take anything you throw at me, Vivicar.
Perhaps a little test is in order. See how Yuan's will crumbles before mine. Fitting that two of my enemies will destroy each other.
Oh, I don't think so somehow. I mean, this is kind of hilarious in itself because they do scale, which is another thing that I talked about in previous series. It's kind of hilarious to see, but I'll actually mention that if I get a bit of talking time after this. Do I get some? Can I talk you on? Are you going to interrupt me? No. Okay. Yes, I do get a little bit of talking time. Anyway, point is, because we're on Tython, everything is scaled down to level 12. And that's the same when you're on Korriban as well, on the Imperial side. And when you're fighting a boss such as this, the level makes a huge difference to how strong they are. And as you could see, I mean, she did no damage to us, even though I had a shield on. Obviously, you would expect a boss like this to be a little bit more interesting. But I suppose we are at a very low level already, so it's actually not a big deal.
It worked. Listen, Lord Vivicar, he's out in deep space on some sort of vessel. Here, take the coordinates. He's surrounded himself with defenses. Send this. It's his code. It will give you time to get aboard. No, the darkness. Vivicar's will is too strong. I can't hold on. Please kill me. End it now.
I am obedient, Master Yuan.
May the Force protect you.
Yeah, I kind of had to do that because I've kind of been regretting a little bit of the shielding that I've been doing, and I just couldn't resist it really, because if they were going to give me the chance to do it, I was saying to myself, if they're going to give me that chance, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I really didn't want to shield again. I personally feel like the shielding thing is a little bit of a, I don't know, it's kind of a sci-fi trope. You know, one of those things where it's just like, oh, this particular fellow is the chosen one, and he can do this amazingly special thing that no one else can do because everyone else is dead or whatever, you know. And I kind of find that not using it and being selective with using it is really, really cool, and I'd very much like to see what the Jedi Council has to say about that, because I've heard a couple of things about the Consular story. I mean, obviously, when the game first came out, and it was like a few months afterwards, everyone was saying, oh yes, I like this story, I really don't like this one, etc, etc. And I really wanted to see how everyone rated all of the stories, and the Consular always seemed to come out somewhere near the bottom, so basically, you know, last place basically all the time. And it's actually kind of amusing because someone said, how is the Dark Side Consular? And everyone was like, oh no, the Dark Side Consular is terrible. And, you know, the Jedi Council doesn't react to anything you do. So if you kill someone, it doesn't matter. They just act as though you didn't do anything or something along those lines. So I'm very interested to see what happens.
We've been monitoring events in the meditation chamber. Please return to the Council at once.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a very easy and short holo communicator call. I find that amusing because wasn't I going to return to the Jedi Council anyway? Because obviously I have retrieved the coordinates, and well, that's the thing. Maybe we're gonna get a bit of a sort of lying situation here, which would actually be kind of cool, but something tells me probably not.
The ritual was a success. Lord Vivicar is out in uncharted space, but he knows I'm coming.
Now only your shielding talent can stop him.
When darkness overcame Yuan, you had the will to do what was necessary. Lord Vivicar will have made preparations, and he still has his greatest weapon, the plague.
If that's his best weapon, he'll get a shock if he tries to use it on me.
Go to the coordinates quickly, before Vivicar strikes back. And Jedi, may the Force be with you.
Yeah, I think that's another one of those things. Like I was saying beforehand, I think the Council was kind of like, yeah, so one of our most trusted friends and respected, you know, comrades has been killed by this newly appointed Jedi Knight / Master person, and yeah, that's it. We're kind of just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine, that's okay. And I think that's a bit weird. So, obviously, that particular aspect of the Consular story is not very good so far, but I mean, that's the thing. When Master CEO called me, and he was like, oh, return to the chamber at once, I was like, oh no, we're gonna get told off now, or we're gonna have to hide what happened to Master Yuan. So they were going to say, what happened to Master Yuan? How did she perish? And then we could have said something like, oh, Lord Vivicar's will was too strong, I had to silence her, or Lord Vivicar killed her, or something along those lines. That maybe would have been a little bit more in-depth and a little bit more interesting, but, well, who am I to say? Maybe they ran out of time with this particular aspect of it, but I'm actually really liking the story. Apart from that, I think the first chapter is always a little bit hit and miss, dependent on the class, of course. But I think for now, I'm going to be ending this episode off here. Next time, we're going to be traveling to Lord Vivicar's ship, and that should maybe signal the end of Chapter 1, who knows. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.